What's up, YouTube? I almost said Facebook. What's up, YouTube? Oh man, this will be a fun video. So today's a cool day. My name is Mike McKinstry, and I run Basquatch Hunter TV. It is now a in 4 days it'll premiere. It'll be a national cable TV show. But I want to talk about when I started, how I started, and how I quit my job to go fishing. It's still crazy to me. Today is the anniversary of the day that I went to my office and said I was going to quit my job to go fishing. It took about a month or two after that before it all actually happened, but today is the anniversary of that day. And I know that because I had a Facebook memory pop up today to remind me of the day that I was out fishing. And I remember that day very well. So I want to talk about that with you guys, and I want to do it live. That way, if anybody wants to ask questions live, they can, or if they want to have a chat live, then they can. So I want to do it live. So let's start at the beginning here. We're gonna try to make this a short video, but I did the craziest thing in the world. I had a 13-year career in marketing and promotional advertising, and I quit my job literally because I liked fishing more than work. And I know a lot of people think that, and a lot of people feel that way, but it's very, very scary and hard to make that jump. And I'm gonna tell you about it. So I've been fishing since I was really young. I've been fishing since I was my earliest memories. I was 5, maybe younger. I don't know. I was young, and no one of my family fished. No one I really knew fished. None of my friends really were into fishing, but I always liked it. And I don't know why. I don't know what influenced me. I don't know what brought me to it. I don't know what it was, but I always liked fishing. So the older I got, the more it became a hobby. Like even in high school, like me and some buddies would go out and go fishing. And, I lived on a lake in high school. I was lucky enough. So we would go out fishing, and we never took it seriously. It was more of a thing just to do. It was never a thing to learn, but just like, let's throw a bait and see what happens. And I used to do all right, like everyone does, catch a little couple fish here and there. Well, when I got a little bit older, I was like, what, I'm going to get a bass boat, and I want to get my own boat, and I want to go and do my own thing, do my own tournaments and do stuff like that. So I started doing that. I got a boat. My first boat was a 12-foot rowboat that I built a platform on, put a pedestal seat on, put a fish finder on, and it was a 12-foot rowboat with a 6 horsepower, like 1970 something, like Johnson Outdoors motor on it. And I put that on there, and I started fishing. I started going on big lakes. I started going on big bodies of water up here in Michigan, and it wasn't really safe or that much fun on the big water. So I traded up, and I got a bigger bass boat, and I got a legit, pretty nice sized bass boat, a 19-footer, and I started doing tournaments. I started getting more into it, and I was lucky enough in my career where I got to be around some really cool people, and one of the people I got to be around was Kevin Van Dam. And I got to do a couple charity tournaments with him because we did the marketing for him, the company I worked with. And he taught me, we were just talking. I don't even know if he knew that he even inspired me to do this at the time, but I was talking to him about how like he makes so much money in tournaments. Like it must be nice, all the same thing he always probably always hears. And he told me, he's like, hey, think about all the tournaments I lost. I don't win every tournament. So think about the tournaments I lost to get to this point. And I was like, oh yeah, I never thought about that. But you get paid anyway, right? And he's like, I only get paid if I keep winning and keep my brand worth something. If I stay valuable is when I get paid. And I was like, all right. So I started understanding the business part where it's not about fishing tournaments for a living and making a living, because you have to win almost every tournament to be able to afford to do that. So it's about endorsement deals and sponsorship and brand and like all these other things that went into it that I didn't even think about at the time. So I went back to my career, went back to my job, just doing my marketing stuff every day, being a sales director and graphic designer and everything I did there, and just doing my day-to-day routine. I started realizing that I was doing most of my meetings on the phone because I was on the water. So I was out fishing, and I'd be on the phone with a client, and I would just stop fishing for a half hour, an hour. I'd do all the work from my phone. I even would invite clients out to go fishing with me. And because they would always hear me on the phone and be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm out fishing. They're like, oh, serious, man? I want to go fishing. And like, will you take me out one day? I started taking clients out fishing. I started like closing deals with clients while I was out fishing. And I was like, you know what? Fishing's more fun than sitting in the office. And it became a thing where I always thought that fishing was gonna be more fun than anything else I could do. So I started spending all my time fishing. I was only in my office maybe 15 hours a month. Um, like literally 15 hours a month. I was in my office. That was it. So after a while, everyone in my office was like, they kind of knew that I just wasn't there anymore. Like I just started checking out. Like I would come in there once a week to touch base and just catch up on things and, turn in some stuff, make sure everything was in order. And then I'd go back out fishing for the whole week. And then I was like, man, this is definitely something I want to do more of. And the boat was costing me so much money. I kept on fishing these tournaments and I kept on breaking off props and damaging the lower unit of my engine. And I'd have electrical issues in the boat and just have like repair issues all the time. The trailer would break down. Like there was just so many problems with the boat because I was fishing so much. So I was like, you know what? Let me get one of these kayaks, these little plastic things that flip over or whatever, these little teeny kayaks. Let me get one of these things. I'm going to see what it is. I'm going to see what it's all about. Well, man, was I surprised. My first week of having my kayak, I caught my personal best at the time, my personal best bass. And I was like, all right, because I got to go to a spot that my boat wouldn't go. And I found where all these fish were hiding. And I was like, all right, this is something. So I did a tournament the next week. So this is my second week with a fishing kayak. And I did a tournament. I knew nobody. I didn't know anybody at all there. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really know how it all worked even. I was just like, I'll figure it out. I'm good at winging things. I'll figure it out. So I show up to the tournament as a stranger. I knew nobody. I flip over because I was a noob. I didn't know what I was doing. It's the only time I've ever flipped my kayak. I flipped over in terrible weather, terrible conditions, lost all my gear. By the end of the tournament, everybody there that didn't know me, I was just some new guy, donated batteries, fishing rods, tackle, clothes, because my clothes were freezing. I was soaking wet. I was freezing. And I went back out and finished top 10 in that tournament. And I really didn't care about the placement. Like, I didn't care about the top 10 finish. That was cool, but it wasn't what I was there for. What I took away from that event was the community and the people that were around and how much fun it was and how incredible it was. And it was just so much fun. It was just such a cool like thing to do. So I started telling my buddies about it and they're like, yeah, I would never fish out one of those little things. I'd flip over. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd flip over. And I was like, you don't understand. These new kayaks that are out now are they don't flip. Like I flipped once, but I was being an idiot. Like I was sideways into the waves. Like, but I know better. Like I know what I did wrong. I'm like, but you can stand up in these things. Like this is actually cooler than a bass boat. I promise you. So I started making videos, and I did video production 15 years ago in school. I did 4 years of video production, but long time ago. So I was like, man, I got to learn how to film. I got to learn how to do a YouTube channel. I got to learn how to do all this stuff. So I started doing it, and I was like, all right, I need to share this with people. I need people to see how much fun this really is. So I started a YouTube channel. My first few videos are on this channel and they're terrible. They're called like Mike McKinstry highlight reel or something like that. They're just terrible videos. My first shot at digital editing and filming. I was using like off-brand, like $30 like knockoff GoPros and just keeping them running the whole day on external batteries. It was terrible. Off PVC pipe camera mounts. Like we've all been there. We've all started out somewhere. And it started getting more fun. Like I started getting really excited to share my adventures with people. And I started getting really excited to bring people into the experience with me and to make people feel like they were there with me. So I started like asking around. I wasn't going to go at it alone. I asked the people above me. I looked above me and see who was already doing what I wanted to do. And I started reaching out to them. And I said, hey, can you help me? I have some questions. I'm trying to learn this. I want to get better at this. And luckily, the community was so good. Everybody helped me. And I took advice from everybody. And I did a lot of research on my own. And I worked really, really hard. And I started getting more attention on my YouTube channel. I started having brands reach out to me and say, hey, what you're doing is awesome, man. Like you just, where'd you come from? Like you went from 0 to 100. Like we never heard of you. You've never been in the sport, have you? I'm like, no, I just started. And like, how are you already like up here as far as like you're out there? Like you have a website, you have Facebook, you have a YouTube channel, and you're promoting like crazy, like every single day. And I was like, yeah, I just really, really like this. Like I'm super passionate about this. And I really, really want to jump in 110% immediately. And it ruffled some feathers, obviously, because you can't jump into an industry full force and not ruffle feathers. You're supposed to like ease in to make people comfortable. That's not me. I jumped in full force, full energy, full hyperness. Boom, here I am. And I didn't slow down, and I still haven't slowed down. And so I went to work on this day, on March 26th. I went to my office and I talked to the people I worked with. I talked to the rest of the guys there, and I was like, hey, I don't think I'm gonna do this anymore. And I remember his reaction too. He thought I was joking. I was there for 10 years at that office. I was in that career for 13 years, but I was at that office for 10 years. And he thought I was joking at first, probably, and he took it very lightly. And then like a month later, I started making moves. I started telling him like, "Hey, I'm not here anymore. Like, I'm gonna step away. My 10-year anniversary with the company is coming up, and that's gonna be my last day." And that's when it like hit everybody. Like, "Oh, you're serious?" That's when it hit me too. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm serious. I'm quitting my job to run a YouTube channel." That's all I had at the time. I'm quitting my job to run a YouTube channel about fishing, about kayak fishing. If you could imagine if you can imagine the reaction on people's faces and the feeling I had, the pit in my stomach when that happened, and I was like, "All right." And then my going away party hit, and I walked out, and that's the last time that I worked there, and I walked out, and I was like, "All right, I need to make this work now because I can't go back. I'm not gonna go back to that office now with my tail between my legs. I need to make this work." So I started working, man, and I did it. I quit my job, and today is the anniversary of it. Today is 4 years. 4 years or 3 years? Hold on, I gotta think of the date now. Was it 16 or 17? I think it was 2016. Yeah, 2016. So today is 4 years that I walked into my office and told him that I was gonna quit my job. And today is that anniversary of the day that I quit my job to pursue kayak fishing. Like, who does that as an adult? That was terrible. It was scary. It was, I mean, I don't regret it, but I wish I'd have been more prepared. But who knows? Like, you never know what you're gonna get into, and there's no handbook on how to do stuff like this. You just got to go for it and just work and just grind and just every obstacle. You got to see over every obstacle. If you see a mountain in front of you and you're coming up to it, you got to see what's behind it and what's beyond it, and just plan on going right through that thing. You can't think about the journey and how tough it's going to be to go over it, if you can make it or not. You got to just kind of just go for it and go right through that mountain. And I did it. I had a YouTube channel for 2 years before I got picked up, and I started doing a streaming network last year. And then this year we have a full legitimate, Nielsen rated cable TV show nationally. And it's on a global streaming network as well, on Pursuit Channel and Pursuit Up. And it's just another launch pad. We're going to keep on growing from here. But yeah, I just want to share that story with you guys. It's a super scary thing to do, to take that jump, to follow your passions and to follow something that you really, really find happiness in. And that's kind of what I do with my show, with Bass Squatch Hunter TV, on the YouTube channel and on the TV show. I try to promote positivity, and I try to help impact people's lives in the best way that I can. And the reason why I do that is because this sport, and me leaving my career that was draining me and the stress was killing me, me leaving that and getting into this literally like saved my life, because my depression and my anxiety was so bad. Going to work every day and being miserable isn't for anybody. Nobody deserves that. If you're miserable at your job every day, don't feel like you're stuck. Don't be like, "Well, I need the benefits. I need the money." You could do something else. You don't necessarily need to quit your job and do a YouTube channel, because that's tough. That's why not a lot of people do it. It's really tough. But plus, I don't have a family. I don't have any kids or anything. So I don't have any dependents. So it made it a little bit easier. If I had, a full family, I was taking care of a couple kids and everything like that, it'd be a totally different story. I won't be able to do that, obviously. But if you're in a job that you're miserable in, and it's just like draining you and it's ruining who you are as a person, and it's taking your personality out from underneath you, you're not stuck there. You can get out. You can find another job that maybe you don't make as much money, or maybe you don't have the same benefits, but you can make a living. Happiness is worth more than money. Money and possessions come and go. I've always said this too. Money and possessions come and go all the time. I've had everything I've ever wanted, and I've lost it all, and I've gotten it all back, and I've lost it all. And I've done it plenty of times. I've had multiple businesses. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've had plenty of businesses. Some failed miserably, where I lost everything. Some succeeded and I got to keep everything. So um, I've learned that money and possessions and everything like that you think matters, it comes and goes. But your time is like the most valuable thing that you could get, because you don't get it back. Once you spend your time, you're never going to get it back. So how you spend your time is way more important than how you spend your money. And that's the one thing that I've taken away from this whole thing is spending my time trying to make memories is better than trying to make money. Spending my time trying to find happiness is better than trying to find a promotion or trying to find a new career. I rather create a job than find a job. And it's not because I can create a job better than a job that I could find. Obviously, it's because finding a job that I can be happy in and feel at peace with is something that didn't exist at the time. I needed to create something. So, um, don't be afraid to follow your passion. And if your passion is bowling, find a way to make money bowling. I mean, you can't, I don't know if you can make a living bowling. I don't know the sport well enough, but um, you could go do tournaments. You could, do something like start a channel doing reviews or, there's things you can do to make money doing your hobbies. And I've always done that. When I started kickboxing and doing mixed martial arts, I started trying to fight professionally because I was like, well, I'm gonna make money doing this. I don't want to have to pay to do my hobby. I want my hobby to pay me. Same thing with hockey. I started coaching so I could make extra money when I was playing hockey. So I could, me doing private goalie lessons paid for my hockey. So I didn't have to pay for hockey for a long time when I was doing that. I taught guitar lessons for a while. When I taught guitar lessons, it paid for my guitars. It paid for my hobby. And then fishing, the same thing. I'm at a point in my career now where I have been for a little bit where I don't have to pay to go fishing for the most part. There's some gear that I buy. I like supporting some brands, and there's brands that I'm not sponsored by that I like using still. And that's more important to me than being sponsored by them. As a product I like, whether they sponsor me or not, I will support them as a customer. And that's every sponsor I have, I support it as a customer first, or I still do sometimes. But I still spend money fishing, but I don't have to. If I need bait, if I need a kayak, if I need rods, I can work. Like my career pays for that, so the money I make doing what I do pays for my hobby. So some people have a career to be able to afford to do what they like to do. Like some people will go to work every day just so they can afford to do what they like to do. And that's all their job is a source of income to feed their hobby. I'm backwards where my source of income is my hobby. So my career feeds itself so I can continue to do what I like to do. And that's filming, it's fishing, it's going on adventures. And most importantly, it's sharing it with all of you guys and hoping that it leaves a positive impact and hoping that it inspires people and hoping that it changes people's motivations and it changes their minds about finding happiness over finding possessions. And, it's not all about like trying to bring people down and trying to start drama on social media. And, it's about building people up, and, a rising tide raises all ships. So if we all raise it together, everybody in the pool all rises up too. And it's a lot more fun to be on top of a mountain with a group of people and all your friends and peers and like-minded people than it is to be on top of a mountain by yourself. So, yeah, today's the anniversary. Today is the 4-year anniversary of the day that I walked in and made the decision to quit my job to go fishing. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So on that note, I'm going to end this with my theme song for my show. That is me playing music and my voice and everything too, because I like tying into all my passions. So my music goes into my videos too. But either way, if you guys have any questions about how I made this jump, if anyone else out there has made this jump too, if you guys have made that jump at all where you've quit a career to follow a passion, I want to hear about it. Shoot me a message or comment on this video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're going to be doing a lot more content this year as soon as all this virus stuff clears up, and hopefully it's soon. Everybody stay safe out there too. And again, if there's any questions about the show, about how I did it, what I did, I'm happy to share it with anybody. It's not secrets. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but it means I can share what worked for me and maybe you can learn from it. So that being said, comment on this video. Let me know what you've done, what you've chased, and if you've done the same jump that I have and how it went. And subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I will talk to you guys soon. Stay safe, stay clean, and I'll see you guys on the water. Stay tuned for more content, guys. Bye.